Chapter 1. The System Already Lost. The Cinderline War was 19 days old when the Galactic Compact abandoned Neralis. No one used the word abandoned. Official reports preferred phrases such as strategic contraction, temporary withdrawal, and preservation of fleet strength. Commander Orash knew what those words meant. They meant the fleet was leaving. They meant the civilians were not. Neralis was a narrow strip of life trapped between two kinds of death. One side of the planet faced its red sun forever. The ground there had melted into plains of black glass. The opposite side never saw daylight. Its frozen atmosphere lay across the surface in pale glaciers. Between them stretched the twilight belt. Warm rivers wound through forests of silver reeds. Cities rose beneath permanent auroras. Agricultural towers followed the slow winds around the planet, collecting moisture and sunlight. 28 million people lived inside that thin habitable ring. Most were Tesselan. Their ancestors had evolved in the pressurized oceans of another world. Modern Tesselans carried their translucent bodies inside bronze walking shells filled with warm, salt water. Orash shell stood 3 meters tall. 4 mechanical legs supported a narrow, armored torso. His true body floated within its central chamber like a ribbon of amber glass. When he spoke, the shell translated vibrations from the water into a deep musical voice. That voice remained calm as the last compact cruiser left orbit. Repeat the withdrawal order. Communications Officer Celit turned from her station. She belonged to the Avara, a species of feather-like climbers with 6 long arms and skin patterned like polished wood. Her facial frills had folded flat with fear. Compact Command confirms immediate strategic withdrawal from the Neralis system. What forces remain? 1 orbital monitor, 3 customs cutters, 7 patrol craft, the militia. Urin looked through the command center's wide observation window. The Neralis defense platform hung above the planet's twilight line. It had been built to deter pirates. 200 years earlier, most of its weapons had not been fired since installation. Its armored ring carried outdated missile launchers, 6 rail batteries, and enough fuel to change orbit twice. The approaching Orash formation contained more than 400 ships. Urin asked, "What reason did Compact Command provide?" Celit hesitated. "They believe the colony cannot be defended." The officers around the command chamber went still. A Murath artillery specialist named Kalkin of Stone struck one heavy hand against his chest plate. His species grew bodies from mineral deposits. Heat glowed inside the cracks of his dark skin. Then command should have evacuated the population before withdrawing. "They attempted to," Celit said. "How many transports came?"
6.
Kalkin's internal glow brightened. 6 transports cannot carry 28 million people. "No." Urin watched the final compact cruiser accelerate toward the Cinderline beacon. The beacon opened a corridor through folded space. The cruiser entered. Then the corridor collapsed. The beacon went dark. Neralis became an island. The Orash were 8 hours away. Urin opened the standing defense order. It contained 3 objectives: protect the Cinderline beacon, preserve the orbital platform, await compact reinforcements. The beacon no longer functioned. Reinforcements were not coming. That left the platform. A structure built to defend the people below. A structure the compact now wanted preserved while those people died. Urin's lower limbs locked against the deck. He had spent 43 years following lawful commands. He had believed obedience created order. The last 19 days had tested that belief. The Orash had entered compact territory without warning. They did not issue demands. They did not negotiate. They dismantled orbital infrastructure, stripped industrial worlds, and forced survivors into enormous migration fleets. No one knew where those fleets went. The oldest compact powers had responded with centralized armadas. The Orash destroyed them. They disrupted command networks, isolated formations, and attacked whatever the compact considered most valuable. The compact began retreating toward its core systems. Every withdrawal left another frontier population behind. Neralis was next. Governor Heshra Vaughn appeared on the command display. Heshra belonged to the native Tesselan population. Her pressure shell was smaller than Urin's and decorated with blue ceramic bands. Behind her, people crowded the planetary emergency center. "Commander," she said, "the final compact ship has departed."
Yes.
"Will it return?" "No." The governor's true body darkened inside her shell. Tesselans could not hide despair from one another. "What are our options?" Urin could have lied, many commanders would have. He had never understood the purpose. The Orash formation will enter weapons range in 8 hours. We can delay them. For how long? Current estimates suggest 17 minutes. Heshra remained silent. Urin continued. Civil defense is moving the population into underground shelters. The shelters are designed for solar storms. They may survive an orbital attack. And if the Orash land? Urin had seen recordings from conquered worlds. Black machines walked through cities. Factories disappeared. Power grids were pulled from the ground. Survivors were sorted, marked, and loaded aboard transport vessels. I do not know, he said. Heshra's shell emitted a low note, not anger, grief. My daughter is at Talomir University. The university stood inside the northern reed forests, far from any major shelter. Urin knew what she was asking, not as governor, as a parent. I will contact the regional militia. Thank you. The channel ended. Kalkin of Stone approached the tactical display. We should move the platform over the capital. That would leave the orbital shipyards exposed, Sellet said. The shipyards are empty. They contain repair facilities. For which ships? No one answered. The observation window darkened automatically. Distant flashes appeared beyond Neralis' outer moon. The first Orash scouts had entered the system. Their ships looked like slivers cut from a dead star. Long black hulls surrounded hollow centers. Pale energy moved along their edges without producing heat. Each vessel carried no visible bridge, no markings, no individual identity. The Orash did not name ships. Compact analysts believed they considered individuality a defect. Urin examined their formation. The scouts ignored the platform. They moved toward the system's communication relays. One by one, the relays vanished, not exploded, cut apart. Perfectly measured beams separated antennas, reactors, and data cores. The Orash collected the pieces. They are mapping us, Sellet said. No, Urin replied. He watched the enemy dismantle the last relay. They already have the map. An emergency transmission entered the command chamber. Weak, distorted, human. This is civilian or carrier Blue Finch. Neralis' defense respond. Sellet opened the channel. The image of a human woman appeared. She had copper-brown skin, gray hair tied behind her head, and grease across one cheek. Defense, identify. Commander Urin Vesh, Neralis' orbital authority. Chief Hauler Zoraida Beck, we're 3 million kilometers sunward of you. Our fold engine is damaged. Urin checked the carrier's record. The Blue Finch was a human industrial vessel carrying refined metals toward the inner compact. It had a crew of 81. No weapons, no military designation. You must leave the system, Urin said. We noticed the hostile fleet. Our Cinderline beacon has failed. Human ships don't use the Cinderline. Urin paused. How do you travel? Slowly and with complaints. The answer made no sense. The human continued. We intercepted your evacuation traffic. Do you require transport assistance? You are an ore carrier. We have cargo space. For how many? Comfortably, 4,000. Urin looked toward the population figures. 28 million. 4,000 will not alter the outcome. Zoraida Beck's expression hardened. It will for those 4,000. Before Urin could answer, another signal appeared, then another. 3 human cargo vessels had entered the system from different directions. A fuel tanker, a survey ship, a mobile repair dock. None carried weapons. None had been ordered to Neralis. All had heard fragments of the colony's distress calls. All were turning toward the planet. Sellet stared at the contacts. Why are they coming? Urin did not know. Compact fleets had fled because Neralis could not be saved. Human civilians were arriving because someone remained to be carried. The Orash scouts detected them. 3 enemy vessels changed course. Urin opened a fleet channel. Human ships withdraw immediately. Enemy scouts are approaching. Zoraida Beck answered first. Understood. The Blue Finch accelerated toward Neralis. Urin's shell produced an involuntary pulse. That direction is not withdrawal. We disagree. The human ore carrier opened its cargo bays. Thousands of tons of refined metal scattered behind it. The Orash scouts adjusted course. The metal cloud spread across their path. It was not a weapon. It became one when the Blue Finch activated its mining charges. Space flashed white. Fragments struck the leading scout. Its black hull twisted. The other 2 enemy vessels slowed. The human cargo ships used the delay to reach the planet. Sellett's frills lifted. They attacked without authorization.
Yes.
They are civilians.
Yes.
They are entering a lost system. Urin watched the unarmed vessels descend toward the twilight belt. Perhaps humans did not understand what lost meant. A new contact appeared beyond the outer moon. One ship, military. Its transponder was damaged but still broadcasting. United Nations destroyer. Borrowed thunder. The vessel emerged from folded space trailing vapor. Armor had been torn from its port side. One engine burned unevenly. Half its weapon ports were dark. The destroyer was already damaged, already alone, already too late. It transmitted before Urin could contact it. "This is Captain Tiana Rusk of the UNS Borrowed Thunder, Neralis Defense Report." Urin answered, "Captain Compact Command has ordered withdrawal." "Did they order you to abandon 28 million civilians?" "No." "Then we don't have a conflict." Urin stared at the approaching Orash fleet. "You have one damaged ship."
Yes.
"The enemy has 400.
Yes.
Our defensive survival estimate is 17 minutes. Captain Rusk leaned toward her camera. She looked tired. A strip of medical sealant crossed her forehead. The bridge behind her flashed with repair alarms. "How many minutes do the evacuation ships need?" Urin checked the planetary projections. "To clear even 10% of the population."
Yes.
"At least 9 hours. Then your estimate is outdated." "How long can we hold?" Tiana Rusk looked past the camera. Toward the world she had never seen, toward people she had never met. 9 hours. The human destroyer turned toward the enemy. No orders had sent it, no fleet followed. Urin watched it cross the system alone. For the first time since the compact cruiser abandoned Neralis, something inside his pressure shell warmed. It was not hope. Hope required evidence. This was smaller, more dangerous. The possibility that the battle was not over simply because someone important had declared it lost. Chapter 2. The Damaged Destroyer. The UNS Borrowed Thunder docked with the Neralis defense platform 40 minutes later. It looked worse up close. The destroyer had been designed around a narrow armored spine. Missile cells lined its upper hull. Rail cannons extended from rotating mounts beneath it. 2 mounts were gone. The forward armor had been peeled backward. Temporary plating covered a hole near the engineering section. Human crew members in pressure suits moved across the hull, welding new supports into place while the vessel was still maneuvering. Urin met Captain Rusk at the docking collar. She arrived with 3 officers. Lieutenant Commander Afalabi Serrano, the ship's executive officer, Chief Engineer Lael Vuk, Gunnery Chief Kenzo Mbatha, all wore damaged uniforms, all looked as though they had not slept recently. Tiana Rusk stopped before Urin's bronze shell. The human barely reached the center of his torso. "Commander Urin Vesh."
Yes.
"Tiana Rusk." She extended one hand. Urin examined it. He had encountered human diplomats before. He understood the gesture. He lowered one mechanical manipulator and allowed her to grasp it. The human's hand was warm, small, unarmored. "Your ship is damaged," Urin said. Tiana glanced toward the docking collar. "We noticed." "What happened?" "Orash ambush at Pelion Crossing."
You escaped.
"No." The answer came from Afalabi Serrano. He was a broad-shouldered human with a shaved head and one cybernetic eye. "We stayed until the medical convoy cleared." Urin looked toward the destroyer. "How many enemy ships?" 31, Afalabi said. "How many human vessels?"
3.
"And the others?" Tiana's expression did not change. "Gone." Silence settled over the docking chamber. The Borrowed Thunder was not merely damaged. It was the last survivor of another battle. Urin asked, "Why did you come here?" Chief Engineer Lael Vuk answered while examining the platform wall. "Distress signal." "That is not what I meant." Tiana understood. She looked toward the observation ports. Neralis' auroras moved beneath them. "After Pelion, our fold drive would only carry us along one route. Neralis was at the end." "You had no orders." "Correct." "No tactical support." "Correct." "No obligation to defend this colony." Tiana turned back. "You sent a distress call." "The Compact sent no reinforcements." "We aren't the Compact." The answer disturbed Urin. Not because it was hostile, because it was simple. He led the humans into the command chamber. The tactical display showed the Orash fleet approaching in 3 formations. The central group contained 200 attack vessels. The northern group moved toward Neralis' orbital shipyards. The southern group descended toward the agricultural towers. "They are dividing their force," Afalabi said. Kalkin of Stone approached. "They do not consider us dangerous." Kenzo Mbatha studied the old platform weapons. "They may be right." Kalkin's internal glow brightened. Urin intervened. "Our rail batteries are operational." 4 of 6, Selid Or corrected. "Missile cells." 38%. "Targeting network." "Functional." Lael Vuk looked toward the platform systems. "For how long?" Selit's frills lowered. "The network is isolated." "That isn't what she asked," Tayana said. Urin noticed the human officers shared a habit. They did not soften bad questions. "Our systems are based on compact military architecture," he admitted. "The Orash have already compromised similar networks." Ifalabi moved beside Selit. "Can you operate the batteries manually?" The Avara officer tilted her head. "Manual operation is inefficient." "Can you?" "2 batteries." "Missile targeting." "No." Kenzo Mbatha touched the tactical projection. "Can the missiles launch without guidance?" "They would be unguided." Kenzo smiled faintly. Missiles were unguided before someone made them nervous. Urin looked at Tayana. "You said we would hold 9 hours." "Yes." "How?" "We make the Orash believe this system matters. It contains 28 million civilians. They don't count people as strategic value." The bluntness sent a pulse through Urin's water chamber. He knew she was right. Tayana enlarged the orbital shipyards. "What do they want here?" Selit answered. "Industrial infrastructure, agricultural towers, deuterium reserves, the Cinderline beacon." "Beacon is dead. It can be repaired. So they'll take it intact." Tayana looked toward Urin. "We let them." Kalkin's stone fingers curled. "You propose surrendering the beacon." "I propose making it useful." "It is already useful." "Not to us." Lael Vuk brought up the beacon's internal schematics. The device had once generated stable corridors to 11 neighboring systems. Its central rings still contained enormous field coils. The Orash would need to connect their own systems before moving it. Lael highlighted the maintenance conduits. "We overload the inner ring after they attach." Selit's frills rose. "The resulting distortion could destroy the beacon." "That's the idea." "It could also destroy everything within 20,000 kilometers." Afalabi pointed toward the enemy fleet path, "including them." Urin examined the plan. "You want to sacrifice the most valuable structure in the system." Tayana's eyes hardened. "The most valuable structures are under the atmosphere." The human captain marked 3 additional positions: the orbital shipyards, a deuterium refinery, the defense platform. "We use the shipyards as decoys." The refinery becomes a minefield. The platform pulls their central formation into the beacon's collapse radius. Urin understood the final implication. The platform cannot escape that radius. "Not under its own power." "You intend to tow it." Tayana nodded toward the arriving human industrial ships. The Blue Finch, the fuel tanker patient argument, the repair dock hammer choir, cargo haulers, tugs, survey craft, 13 human civilian vessels now surrounded Neralis. More signals were entering the system. Independent ships responding to broken distress calls. None had received permission. None carried sufficient weapons. Together, they possessed engines designed to move mining platforms, asteroids, and damaged freighters. Urin looked at the human captain. "You planned this before docking." "No." "How long did it take?" "Most of the way in." Kalkin rumbled through his stone chest. "The Orash will detect the tow cables." "They will detect everything eventually," Kenzo said. "We only need to make them detect the wrong thing first." Governor Heshravan appeared on the main display. "Commander, the human ships are taking civilians aboard." "Yes." "They have requested permission to land inside the agricultural districts." "Grant it." "The southern Orash formation will reach those districts in 4 hours." Tayana turned. How many people can reach underground shelters?
18 million.
And the remaining 10? Scattered settlements, agricultural towers, river cities. The captain looked toward Afalabi. Evacuation priority. Children, medical cases, atmosphere-dependent species, then whoever reaches a ship. Governor Heshra's body darkened inside her shell. My daughter is at Talomir. Urin remembered. The university lay in the path of the southern formation. Tayana asked, how many students? 52,000. Transport access. One rail lined. Roads. The reed forests have no roads. Airfield. Small. Tayana opened a channel to the human survey ship. UNS Cartographer's Folly, this is Rusk. How low can you fly? A cheerful human voice answered, define low. Below hostile targeting assumptions. Now you're speaking professionally. Urin's shell translated a confused vibration from his body. Tayana looked at him. Survey ships follow terrain. The Orash will be searching for military transports at altitude. The Cartographer's Folly can carry only 800. It has external equipment racks. For people, it will shortly. Lael Vuk was already sending modifications. Governor Heshra watched the humans convert exploration equipment into evacuation harnesses in real time. How many trips? She asked. As many as they can make, Tayana said. That will not save 52,000. No. The governor's body darkened further. Tayana continued. But it saves the first 800. The same answer the ore carrier had given. Urin began to understand. Humans did not reject arithmetic. They simply refused to let the size of a tragedy erase the individuals inside it. The tactical alarm sounded. The first Orash formation altered course. They were no longer moving toward the shipyards. They had detected the human destroyer. Every enemy vessel in the central formation turned toward the borrowed thunder. Tayana looked at the display. Good. Urin's internal water surged. You wanted their attention.
Yes.
You have it. That part was easier than expected. The captain opened a channel to her ship. Thunder undock. Ifalabi looked at her. We haven't completed hull repairs. We aren't going far. How far? Tayana pointed toward the dead Cinderline beacon. Far enough to look afraid. Chapter 3. The plan that failed first. The borrowed thunder fled. That was what the Orash saw. The damaged human destroyer broke away from Neralis and accelerated toward the dead Cinderline beacon. Its remaining engines burned unevenly. Armor fragments separated from its hull. The ship appeared to be attempting escape. The central Orash formation pursued. On the Neralis defense platform, Urin watched the enemy move exactly where Tayana wanted them. Distance to beacon collapse radius? He asked. Selit answered, 170,000 kilometers. Human ship status. Engine output unstable. Kalkanov stone stood beside the manual rail controls. The instability appears genuine. Urin agreed. The destroyer was using damage as camouflage. That did not make the damage false. Tayana's face appeared on the command display. Static crossed the image. Platform, prepare rail batteries. Ready. Hold fire until my signal. The enemy is entering effective range. I know. They will enter your effective range first. I know that too. Urin's shell produced an irritated chord. The human captain heard it. Is that anger?
Yes.
Good means you're paying attention. The channel closed. Kalkin's internal fire brightened. I dislike her. You respect her, Selit said. The two conditions are compatible. Below them, the evacuation accelerated. Human cargo vessels landed in reed clearings, agricultural plazas, and river ports. Their loading procedures ignored comfort. People stood inside empty ore bays. Medical patients were secured to cargo rails. Tesseland pressure shells were stacked in racks built for industrial containers. The human crews kept every walkway open and every engine hot. The Cartographer's Folly descended over Talomir University. The survey ship flew between silver reed towers, close enough that its engine wash flattened the forest. Students climbed onto external sensor racks modified with harnesses and emergency pressure screens. 800 departed. Then the ship returned. Again. Each trip crossed beneath descending Orash scouts. Talomir's airfield defenses fired from the ground, not to destroy the enemy, to make them look away from the survey ship. The central battle began near the beacon. The first Orash volley crossed space. Gravity distortion struck the borrowed thunder. Its forward hull twisted. The human ship rolled. 2 enemy vessels moved to cut off its retreat. Teyana transmitted one word: now. Kalkin fired the defense platform's rail batteries. 4 rounds accelerated toward the Orash formation. The enemy detected them. Its ships adjusted local gravity. The rounds curved. They missed. Kenzo Mbatha's voice entered the platform channel. Fire second pattern. Kalkin launched 6 more rounds. They spread widely. The Orash distorted their paths. Again, the shots missed. Sellet's frills tightened. We are wasting ammunition. No, Kenzo said. We're teaching them. The third volley fired. The rounds approached at different speeds. The Orash gravity fields adjusted. 3 projectiles curved away. 2 collided. The 6th changed course exactly as Kenzo had predicted. It struck a maintenance barge hidden beside the dead beacon. The barge exploded. Fragments scattered across the enemy's path. The Orash moved around them. That brought the central formation closer to the beacon. Urin felt the first trace of admiration. The humans were not firing at the enemy. They were shaping its movement. Beacon team, Teyana said, prepare overload. A response came from inside the dead structure. Charges set. The voice belonged to Chief Engineer Lael Vuk. Urin's water chilled. You placed your chief engineer inside the beacon. She knows the system. How will she escape? Maintenance shuttle. Sellet checked the beacon. No shuttle is attached. A pause crossed the channel. Then Lael answered, we're still working on that. Urin's manipulator struck the tactical console. You began this operation without an extraction craft. Teyana's expression appeared again. We began with the equipment available. That is not planning. No. The human captain's eyes remained on the enemy. It's war. The Orash formation entered the collapse zone. Lael activated the first overload stage. The beacon's outer rings began rotating. Blue light spread across the dead structure. The Orash ship slowed. They recognized the field. Their formation tightened around the beacon. Boarding frames detached from the larger vessels. The trap was working. Then the southern Orash force changed direction. It abandoned the agricultural towers. Every ship turned toward the beacon. Sellet looked at the tactical display. They detected the overload. Teyana's face hardened. How? Urin understood. The Cinderline architecture. What about it? The Orash have captured compact beacons in other systems. They know the failure pattern, Afalabi said. The enemy was not entering a trap. It was surrounding it. More Orash vessels accelerated toward the beacon. The northern formation left the shipyards. 300 hostile ships converged upon the borrowed Thunder and Lael Vuk's engineering team. Urin watched the plan collapse. Detonate now. Teyana shook her head. Not enough ships inside range. If you wait, your engineer dies. If we fire now, the remaining force attacks the planet. That force will attack regardless. Not if it thinks it can capture a human destroyer. Urin looked at the damaged vessel. You are using your ship as bait. Yes. Your crew knows. The Orash fired again. The borrowed Thunder lost its remaining port engine. The ship began rotating. Enemy boarding frames closed around it. The human captain's image shook. Alarms sounded behind her. Afalabi Serrano gripped the command chair. Kenzo Mbatha shouted firing solutions. Teyana remained upright. Platform begin tow preparation. Urin stared. You still intend to move the station. Enemy is concentrating away from Neralis. We use the opportunity. Our tow vessels are evacuating civilians. Yes. You want them to stop? No. Teyana expanded the tactical map. The human industrial ships were departing Neralis with civilians aboard. Their courses brought them toward the orbital platform, not away from it. Urin understood. They will tow us while carrying evacuees. They're haulers. That does not make the maneuver safe. Nothing is safe. The human cargo vessels reached the platform. Tow cables launched. The Blue Finch attached to the eastern ring. The patient argument secured the lower hull. 7 other vessels locked onto structural points. Their engines activated. The defense platform groaned. It moved, slowly. The old station had not changed orbit in decades. Metal screamed through its outer ring. Urin felt vibration travel through the command deck. Sellet looked toward him. Commander, compact regulations prohibit inhabited towing without structural certification. Urin studied the enemy fleet, then the evacuation ships, then the regulations. He closed the document. Compact command withdrew.
Yes.
So has its authority. Kalkinov's stone rumbled approval. The platform accelerated away from Neralis. The human haulers pulled it toward the beacon's outer collapse boundary, a mobile fortress. A shield for the evacuation lanes, an additional target, the Orash noticed. 30 vessels broke from the central formation. They turned toward the platform. Urin opened his command channel. All batteries, manual control, fire at will. The defense platform fought. Rail rounds crossed space. Missiles launched without guidance. The first wave missed. The second forced the enemy apart. The third struck an Orash cutter turning between fields, its black hull split. Kalkin roared. The sound filled the command chamber. For 17 minutes, the outdated platform held. Then the Orash adapted. Their ships stopped using coordinated gravity fields. Each vessel moved independently. The platform's predictive firing patterns failed. Enemy beams struck the towing cables. The patient argument lost one engine. A cargo vessel named Soft Answer took a direct hit through its habitation section. The ship continued towing with the compartment open to space. Sellet's frills tightened against her neck. Platform structural failure in 3 sectors. Evacuation status. 4 million off-world, 15 million in hardened shelters. Remaining exposed population. 9 million. Too many, still too many. Near the beacon, the borrowed thunder disappeared beneath enemy boarding frames. The human channel filled with static. Urin could hear gunfire from the destroyer's bridge. Tayana's voice returned. Lail status. The chief engineer answered from the beacon. Overload at 70%. Escape route. Negative. Thunder Shuttle Bay. Boarders have the aft section. Urin looked toward the beacon. The engineer had no way out. The plan required her to remain until the overload completed. Tayana knew it. Lail knew it. Neither said so. The captain transmitted again. Platform prepare final fire pattern. Kenzo Mbatha's tactical package arrived. Kalkin examined it. His internal glow dimmed. This pattern targets the borrowed thunder. Urin looked at Tayana. The captain's image froze for a second, then cleared. Correct. You are ordering us to fire upon your ship. Enemy boarding frames are attached to our hull. You remain aboard. For the moment. Urin's water chamber churned. There must be another option. Find it quickly. The Orash were taking the destroyer. If they captured its fold technology, they could follow human routes. They could enter systems beyond the Cinderline, Earth, human colonies. Every world that believed distance still protected it. Tayana looked directly at Urin. If we lose command, fire. The channel ended. Kalkin placed his hands on the rail controls. He did not activate them. Urin thought of Compact Command abandoning Neralis. They had called the sacrifice necessary. Now the human captain asked him to make the same calculation. One ship against entire systems. He understood it. He hated it. Before he could issue the order, a new signal crossed the system. It came from the southern evacuation lane. Weak, unidentified, then another joined it. Then 5, then 20. Ships emerged from behind Neralis, customs cutters, mining tugs, agricultural lifters, private yachts. River barges fitted with orbital boosters, Neralis civilian vessels. Governor Heshra Vaughn appeared on the command display. Her bronze shell stood inside the planetary traffic center. Commander, local craft are ready. Urin stared. For what? To assist the human destroyer. They are unarmed. Some have cutting lasers. They are civilian. So are the humans evacuating our cities. The governor's true body glowed bright within her shell. My daughter is still at Talomir. Urin said nothing. Heshra continued. The survey ship has made 9 trips. It keeps returning. On the tactical display, the damaged cartographer's folly descended toward the university again. One engine was gone. Part of its external rack had burned away. It still returned. The governor's voice deepened. We have spent 19 days watching other people decide which worlds were worth defending. The civilian craft accelerated. Today, we decide for ourselves. The local flotilla moved toward the Orash fleet. No orders had summoned it. No doctrine supported it. No officer could guarantee survival. Urin looked at the approaching ships. The human plan had failed. Something else was taking its place, not a strategy. A refusal. Chapter 4. The decision without permission. The Neralis civilian flotilla should have died in minutes. It survived because the Orash misunderstood it. The enemy expected coordinated attacks. The civilians provided none. Mining tugs fired cutting lasers at whatever entered range. Agricultural lifters released clouds of fertilizer and irrigation mist. Customs cutters used inspection drones as decoys. A luxury yacht crossed an enemy targeting beam and broadcast continuous insults in 6 languages. The Orash attempted to identify the command vessel. There was none. Each civilian captain had received one instruction from Governor Heshra: help the human destroyer. Everything after that was personal interpretation. The civilian ships entered the space around the borrowed thunder. The Orash boarding formation broke apart to meet them. A mining tug named Copper Promise rammed a boarding frame attached to the destroyer's aft hull. The frame tore free. An agricultural vessel sprayed industrial foam across another. The foam expanded inside its mechanical joints. The boarding frame stopped moving. Urin watched from the defense platform. They are succeeding. Selator's frills lifted. They are surviving. The distinction mattered. Success implied intention. Survival required adaptation. Urin opened a channel to the flotilla. This is Commander Urin Vesh. Concentrate on the destroyer's aft section. Clear the shuttle bay. A human voice answered. Who put you in charge? Urin checked the vessel. The speaker captained a Tesselan fishing barge called 7 Quiet Rivers. I command the orbital defense. Congratulations. The channel closed. Kalkin of stone produced a deep grinding sound. Urin turned toward him. Are you amused? Extremely. Another transmission entered, this time from Governor Heshra. Commander, civilian captains may respond better to useful information than rank. Urin watched the fishing barge drag an Orash frame away using net cables. The governor was correct. He tried again. Flotilla, the destroyer's aft shuttle bay is here. He transmitted the coordinates. Clear that area and the human crew may escape. The response was immediate. 7 ships changed course. No one acknowledged his authority. They accepted the purpose. Urin felt something in his command training loosen. Perhaps command was not the ability to make people obey. Perhaps it was the ability to give their courage direction. The borrowed Thunder's aft shuttle bay opened. 2 escape craft launched. One was struck immediately. The second spun through debris. Efalabi Serrano's voice entered the platform channel. Thunder to Neralis' defense. Non-essential crew evacuating. Captain Rusk. Still aboard. Engineer Vuck. At the beacon. Overload status. 87%. The Orash flagship moved toward the beacon. It was larger than the other vessels. A black ring surrounded a sphere of pale machinery. Hundreds of smaller craft attached to its outer surface. The flagship deployed stabilizing fields around the Cinderline structure. Lael's overload slowed. Her voice came through the channel. They're suppressing the field. Can you compensate? Tayana asked. For a while. How long? Not 9 hours. Even under fire, humans found room for mockery. Urin wondered whether it protected them or revealed them. The defense platform shook. An Orash beam cut through the outer habitation ring. Atmosphere vented. Emergency doors sealed. Selator checked the structural display. Tow point 6 has failed. The Blue Finch released its damaged cable. Zoraida Beck appeared. We're reattaching. Negative, Urin said. Your hull is compromised. We have 1 good engine. You also have 4,000 civilians aboard. A pause followed. Zoraida looked toward someone off-screen, then back at Urin. You're right. The admission surprised him. The Blue Finch changed course. For one moment, Urin thought it was withdrawing. Then the ore carrier accelerated toward the platform's damaged ring. Its cargo doors opened. Thousands of evacuated civilians moved through sealed transfer tubes into the defense station. Urin realized what the humans intended. You are unloading. We tow better without passengers. You should take them away from the battle. The platform has more armor. And when the beacon collapses, Zoraida smiled without humor, then moved the platform faster. The transfer continued. The Blue Finch emptied its cargo bays, then it returned to the tow line. Other human ships followed. They moved civilians into the platform's protected intersections and converted their cargo mass into engine capacity. The towing formation strengthened. The station accelerated. Urin watched the boundary marker. They were almost outside the projected collapse radius. Almost. The Orash flagship continued suppressing the beacon. Lael Vuk's voice strained. 91%. Tayana asked, "Can you trigger at partial charge?"
Yes.
Effect. Unpredictable. That word is becoming fashionable. It may collapse inward. Or outward. Difference. If it collapses inward, it destroys the beacon. And outward, it takes the system with it. Silence crossed every human channel. Urin looked toward Neralis. The planet filled half the observation window. Auroras flowed over the twilight belt. 28 million lives, most remained below. Tayana spoke carefully. "We need full charge." "I know," Lael said. The chief engineer's voice softened. "Captain, there is another option." "No. You haven't heard it." "I know what it is." Lael continued anyway. "The borrowed Thunder's fold core can synchronize with the beacon. It will push the overload through the suppression field." Ifalabi Serrano answered from the destroyer. "The fold core is our only route home."
Yes.
"Can it be removed?"
Not intact.
Tayana stood on the damaged bridge. Enemy troops fought through the decks behind her. The destroyer could not escape conventionally. Its remaining fold core was the only strategic asset the Orash wanted more than the beacon. Sacrificing it would strand the ship. It would also complete the trap. "How do we connect it?" Tayana asked. "Bring the destroyer into physical contact with the beacon." Ifalabi looked at the tactical display. "The Orash flagship is between us and the structure." Kenzo Mbatha reloaded his sidearm. "Then we go through it." Urin studied the positions. The borrowed Thunder had one functioning engine. The flagship had enough mass to crush it. A direct approach would fail, unless the enemy believed the human destroyer was still trying to escape. Urin opened a channel. "Captain Rusk." "Listening." "The Orash expect you to protect the fold core."
Yes.
"Give it to them." Tayana's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "Eject the core." Ifalabi turned toward her. Urin continued. "They will pursue it. The core cannot operate outside the ship." "They do not know that." Lael answered from the beacon. "They may. They cannot risk assuming." Tayana looked toward her tactical officers. The Orash had concentrated around the destroyer because they wanted human technology intact. If the fold core appeared to be escaping aboard a pod, the flagship would move to capture it. That would clear the route to the beacon. Ifalabi said, "We need the actual core for synchronization." Urin watched the civilian ships around the battle. Mining charges, cargo containers, inspection drones. Objects becoming new things because the old purpose no longer mattered. Do the Orash know what a human fold core looks like? Silence followed. Then Kenzo Mbatha laughed. It was a low, delighted sound. "No," he said, "they absolutely do not." The borrowed Thunder transmitted an emergency evacuation signal. A reinforced cargo pod launched from its starboard side. Human warning messages identified it as a critical fold device. The pod accelerated away from the beacon. The Orash reacted immediately. The flagship changed course. 80 attack craft followed. The cargo pod contained no fold core. It contained scrap metal, an old navigation computer, 2 broken missiles, and a kitchen refrigeration unit Chief Engineer Vuk had repeatedly requested be replaced. The flagship chased it. The borrowed Thunder turned. Its final engine ignited at full output. The destroyer drove toward the beacon. The remaining Orash vessels attempted to intercept. The Neralis civilian flotilla entered their path. Fishing barges, customs cutters, survey craft, mining tugs, they fired cutting beams, cargo hooks, pressure foam, rocks, and everything else they possessed. The defense platform fired over them. Unguided missiles crossed the battle space. Kalkin of Stone adjusted each launcher manually. Urin sent vectors. Selit called ranges. No central network linked them. The Orash could not corrupt a command system that no longer existed. The borrowed thunder crossed the final distance. Its damaged bow struck the dead Cinderline beacon. Metal folded, both structures shook. Physical clamps fired from the destroyer. Leilvuk's engineering team connected the fold core. The beacon's blue light turned white. Synchronization, Leil said. 93. The Orash flagship recognized the deception. It released the false cargo pod. The pod detonated. The refrigerator became the first human kitchen appliance to damage an Orash flagship. The blast tore open 3 of the enemy vessel's external frames. Kenzo Mbatha's laughter filled the channel. Chief Vuk is never getting another refrigerator. The flagship turned back toward the beacon. It accelerated. 95, Leil reported. The defense platform crossed the predicted collapse boundary, then tow point 3 failed. The station rotated violently. One towing vessel was pulled apart. A human hauler named Small Mercies vanished from the tactical display. The platform lost speed. They began drifting back toward the danger zone. Sellett's frills flattened. We will not clear the boundary. Urin examined the remaining tow vessels. Not enough thrust. The Orash flagship approached the beacon. 97, Leil said. Teyana appeared on the main display. The destroyer's bridge burned behind her. Commander detached the tow ships. Urin understood. Without the station, the human vessels could escape. With it, they would all remain inside the collapse zone. No. Your platform is carrying 8,000 evacuees and 17,000 defense personnel. I can count. Then count your own crew. Teyana looked toward the Orash flagship. We made our choice. So did we. Laurent. It was the first time she used only his name. No title, no rank, a person speaking to a person. Detach the ships. Urin looked around the command chamber. Sellet ore, Kalkin of stone, officers from 6 species. None moved toward the release controls. Kalkin's internal fire glowed bright. We remain. Sellet's frills lifted. We remain. The statement spread through the platform. Weapons control, engineering, medical, civilian shelters, one transmission after another. We remained. Urin faced Teyana. You arrived without orders. The human captain said nothing. So did the cargo vessels, the civilians, the fishing barges. Everyone still fighting here came because they decided someone else's life mattered. The beacon's light intensified. Urin continued. You do not have authority to order us away. For the first time, Teyana Rusk smiled. Fair. The Orash flagship entered weapons range. 99, Leil whispered. The enemy fired. Chapter 5. Hold until Earth arrives. The Orash flagship's beam struck the Cinderline beacon. The outer ring shattered. Blue-white fragments crossed space. The borrowed thunder remained attached. Its forward decks collapsed. Captain Teyana Rusk was thrown against the command rail. A Falabi Serrano caught her. Leilvuk's voice vanished. The overload stopped at 99%. Every tactical display showed the same number, 99. The Orash flagship closed. Boarding frames extended from its hull. The beacon's field began weakening. Urin watched the collapse projection fade. The trap had failed by 1%. 1% was enough to end a world. Contact Engineer Vuk, he ordered. Sellet tried every channel. No response. Beacon life signs. Interference. Destroyer engineering. Disconnected. A Falabi appeared on the command display. Blood ran from his cybernetic eye. We need someone inside the beacon. Urin looked toward the distance. The defense platform could not reach it. The civilian flotilla had been scattered. The borrowed thunder was boarded. No shuttle remained intact. Then a small contact appeared beside Neralis' outer moon, the cartographer's folly. The human survey ship climbed from the planet for the 10th time. Its hull was burned. One stabilizer hung loose. 800 students crowded its external racks beneath emergency pressure screens. The pilot's voice entered the channel. Survey vessel to orbital command. We have passengers for transfer. Urin stared. Your ship cannot enter the battle. I'm beginning to suspect that. Move to the evacuation lane. Negative. Orash scouts are descending over Talomir. No more trips. Governor Heshru appeared. Her true body floated motionless inside her shell. How many students remained? The pilot did not answer immediately. 44,000. The governor's water darkened. Her daughter remained among them. Urin expected Heshra to order the survey ship back. She did not. The governor touched one manipulator to the command console. "Save those you have." The words nearly broke her voice. The cartographer's folly moved toward the defense platform. Then its pilot saw the beacon, saw the stalled overload, saw the damaged human destroyer. "Orbital command," she said. "What do you need?" Urin looked at the small survey vessel. It had been designed to map rivers and magnetic fields, not wars. How many crew can operate in vacuum?
6.
Do you carry maintenance drones?
4.
Mechanical control.
2.
Urin transmitted the beacon schematics. You must reach this section. A pause followed. That's inside the enemy formation.
Yes.
Then we should unload the students first. The cartographer's folly docked with the defense platform. 800 students crossed through emergency tubes. Urin searched the faces appearing on the internal cameras. Tessellans, Ivara, Murath, humans, young people pressed together inside industrial corridors. Governor Heshra watched too. Her daughter was not among them. The survey ship released its docking clamps. 6 crew remained aboard. Its pilot introduced herself for the first time. Flight Captain Isolde Mbeki. Commander Urinvesh. We've spoken 3 times.
Yes.
You never asked my name. Urin felt the weight of the correction. The crisis had turned ships into symbols, contacts, assets, numbers. Humans insisted on names. Isolde Mbeki, Urin said. The beacon team may be dead. Understood. The enemy may destroy you before arrival. Understood. You are not military. Everyone keeps reminding me. The cartographer's folly accelerated. Enemy fire crossed its path. The defense platform fired every remaining missile. Civilian vessels moved around the survey ship. Some became shields, others released decoys. The 7 quiet rivers deployed its fishing nets across an Orash cutter. The enemy vessel cut through them. The delay lasted 3 seconds. It was enough. Isolde's ship reached the beacon. The survey crew crossed through a maintenance lock. Urin followed their helmet feeds. The interior had lost gravity. Broken field coils floated through white light. Human bodies drifted among them. Lael Vuk remained attached to the overload controls. Her suit had sealed around multiple injuries. She was alive, barely. Isolde reached her. Chief Vuk. Lael opened her eyes. Students. 800 safe. Not enough. No. Lael's expression tightened. Still 800. The same human arithmetic. Never enough, never nothing. Isolde examined the controls. How do we finish? Manual synchronization. Where? Lael pointed toward the beacon's central ring. It rotated beyond the damaged chamber. Unstable energy crossed the gap. The final coupling is inside. Remote access. Gone. Protection. Gone. Survival estimate. Lael looked at her. Poor. Isolde nodded. Better than none. The pilot entered the central ring. Energy flashed across her suit. Camera feed shook. She reached the coupling assembly. It had been built for specialized tools. She carried survey equipment, a geological sampling clamp, a manual winch, 2 sensor cables. She connected them. Nothing happened. 99, Sellet whispered from the platform. The Orash flagship reached the beacon, its boarding frames attached to the far side. Enemy machines entered. Tall figures crossed through the broken structure. They moved on 3 jointed limbs. White ceramic masks covered their bodies. Black fluid filled the gaps between plates. The Orash did not speak. They did not threaten. They advanced toward the control chamber. The borrowed thunders surviving Marines met them. Gunfire filled the beacon. Human soldiers fought through broken field coils while Isolde worked at the coupling. The Orash flagship pushed closer. Its mass forced the beacon toward the destroyer. Metal screamed. Tayana opened a system-wide channel. Her voice was weak. Neralis, this is Captain Rusk. Every surviving receiver carried the message. The defense platform, civilian ships, cities beneath the auroras, students inside the station, people sheltering in reed forests. We are activating the beacon overload. Urin looked at the stalled number. 99, Tiana continued. Any vessel capable of clearing the field should do so now. No one moved. The human captain saw it on her tactical display. Her expression softened. Stubborn people. Kalkin of Stone stood at the final rail battery. We learned from experts. Inside the beacon, Isolde attached the manual winch to the coupling. The handle would not move. Lael Vuck reached her. The chief engineer's suit leaked atmosphere. She placed both hands on the winch. Together. They pulled, the coupling shifted, 1 degree. 2. Energy struck the chamber. Lael screamed. The Orash breached the final marine position. A human soldier named Petru Yamada sealed the door behind himself. He remained on the enemy side. His weapon fired. Once. Twice, again, then silence. Isolde and Lael pulled the winch. The coupling locked. The overload display changed. 100%. The beacon woke not as a road, as a star. White light spread through the structure. The Orash flagship attempted to disengage. The borrowed thunder fired its physical clamps deeper into the enemy hull. Tiana Rusk held it in place. Afalabi looked toward her. Field collapse in 30 seconds. Evacuation. Bridge shuttle destroyed. Crew. Those who could leave already did. Tiana nodded. On the defense platform, Urin ordered every towing engine to full power. Human and Neralis vessels burned together. The station crawled toward safety, too slowly. The collapse boundary expanded. Sellet's frills lay flat against her neck. We remain inside. Continue. Engines at maximum. Then ask for more. Urin opened the system channel. All vessels capable of thrust attached to the defense platform. 3 damaged civilian ships responded. Then 5. A customs cutter secured itself to the station ring. A river barge fired emergency boosters. The Blue Finch drove its final engine beyond safe output. More cables tightened. The defense platform accelerated. The collapse field grew behind them. 20 seconds. Urin looked toward the planet, toward the shelters, toward the university where 44,000 students remained beneath descending Orash scouts. The beacon explosion might save the system from the fleet. It would not rescue everyone below. Humans had never promised that. They had promised time. 9 hours. The battle clock reached 8 hours, 59 minutes. Tiana's voice returned through heavy static. Commander. I am here. Did the transports clear? 7 million civilians evacuated. Most of the remaining population is inside shelters. Good. It is not enough. No. The human captain looked toward something beyond her burning bridge. Perhaps Earth. Perhaps the ship she had lost at Pelion. Perhaps nothing at all. It's never enough. The collapse field approached the defense platform. 10 seconds. Urin's shell warned that his internal pressure was rising. Tiana said, hold. The word passed through every channel. 5 seconds. Hold until Earth arrives. Urin looked at the damaged human ships towing the station. The miners, the haulers, the survey crew, the destroyer attached to the enemy flagship. Earth had already arrived, not as a grand fleet, as people who heard a distress call and changed course. The Cinderline beacon collapsed. Space folded inward. The Orash flagship twisted around the borrowed thunder. Both vessels vanished inside white light. The collapse pulled the surrounding enemy fleet with them. 100 ships disappeared, then 200. The remaining Orash vessels attempted to escape. The distortion caught them. Black hulls stretched into lines. Lines became points. Points went dark. The field reached the defense platform. Every towing cable tightened. The station's outer ring entered the white boundary. Metal vanished. Then the Blue Finch's engine exploded. The blast pushed the station forward. The defense platform crossed the line. The field closed behind it. Silence filled the system. The dead Cinderline beacon was gone. The Orash fleet was gone. The borrowed thunder was gone. Neralis remained. On the command display, the battle clock reached 9 hours, exactly. Chapter 6. The first time they said it. Captain Tiana Rusk survived. No one understood how. 3 days after the battle, a Neralis salvage cutter found part of the borrowed thunder drifting beyond the outer moon. The destroyer's forward section was gone. Its fold core had vanished with the beacon. Its bridge remained inside a shell of emergency armor. 23 crew members were alive. Afalabi Serrano was among them, so was Kenzo Mbatha. Tiana had 3 broken ribs, a damaged lung, and enough radiation exposure to keep human physicians angry for several months. When Urin visited the medical station, she was arguing with a doctor. I can stand. You can fall vertically, the physician replied. That is not the same skill. Tiana saw Urin's bronze shell in the doorway. Commander. Captain. The human physician pointed at her bed. Keep her there. I do not command human patients. Neither do I, apparently. The physician left. Urin approached. You said your bridge shuttle was destroyed. It was. You were inside a collapsing Cinderline field.
Yes.
You vanished with the Orash flagship. Temporarily. How did you survive? Tayana shifted against the medical support. The borrowed Thunder had an experimental compartment separation system. Experimental? It separated. Was it designed to reappear beyond the outer moon? No. Then how? Tayana raised one hand. Commander, there are answers that improve understanding. She lowered it. And answers that encourage engineers. Urin's chamber produced a low harmonic pulse. Tayana smiled. Was that laughter? I am experimenting. Chief Engineer Lael Vuk survived too. Isolde Mbeki dragged her into a survey pod seconds before the beacon collapsed. The pod emerged inside Neralis' upper atmosphere. It fell through 300 kilometers of aurora before its emergency wings deployed. Both women landed in the Silver Reed forests. They were found by students from Talomir University. Governor Heshra's daughter was among them. 44,000 students had remained at the university when the final Orash scouts descended. They had not waited passively. Professors converted agricultural drones into weapons. Engineering students overloaded irrigation towers. Biology departments released clouds of native spores that clogged the Orash machines. The descending scouts withdrew after the orbital fleet vanished. The university survived. So did the governor's daughter. The Neralis casualty report required 8 days to compile. 412,000 civilians died. Nearly 11,000 defense personnel were lost. 21 human ships were destroyed or damaged beyond repair. The number was terrible. The number could also have been 28 million. Both facts remained true. Humans appeared comfortable holding contradictions. Urin was still learning. The Galactic Compact returned after 12 days. A fleet of polished cruisers emerged through a newly established corridor. They arrived after the enemy had been destroyed. After the wounded had been recovered. After civilians had repaired life support systems with components from damaged human ships. Compact Admiral Selketh Mar entered the Neralis command chamber wearing a formal silver uniform. He examined the broken platform. Commander Urinvesh, you disobeyed withdrawal doctrine.
Yes.
You sacrificed a Cinderline beacon.
Yes.
You permitted civilians to enter a military engagement.
No.
The Admiral's facial spines lifted.
No.
They permitted themselves. You failed to preserve the orbital platform. Urin looked through the observation window. Half the station's outer ring was gone. The remaining structure still orbited Neralis. Thousands of civilians lived inside its temporary shelters. It remains in orbit. It has lost 40% of its structure. It preserved the planet. Admiral Mar's spines sharpened. The platform was a compact strategic asset. Urin remembered Tayana's answer. The valuable structures were under the atmosphere. The Admiral stared at him, human phrasing.
Yes.
The humans had no authorization to intervene.
No.
They damaged wider strategic planning. They destroyed an Orash fleet. At disproportionate cost. Urin's water remained calm. Compared with what? The Admiral did not answer. Governor Heshra entered the chamber. Behind her came Zoraida Beck, Isolde Mbeki, Selit Orr, Kalkanov Stone, and representatives from the civilian flotilla. Then came survivors of Talomir. Students, pilots, farm workers, medical personnel. The command chamber filled. Admiral Mar looked around. What is this? Heshra Vaughn stopped beside Urin. Neralis. The Admiral's spines lowered slightly. The governor continued. You may question the cost of our survival. Her true body shone brightly inside her shell. You may not describe it as disproportionate while standing among those who paid it. Admiral Mar left the system 2 days later. His fleet carried no authority over Neralis after the Colony Council voted to suspend compact military jurisdiction. Other frontier systems heard about the decision. So did Human Command. The battle became known as the Defense of Neralis. The official compact report credited a spontaneous coalition of local militia, civilian shipping, and unauthorized human assets. No one read the official report voluntarily. The unofficial version spread faster. It moved through damaged relay networks. along merchant routes, between military crews, from one threatened colony to another. The details changed. Some claimed the borrowed thunder destroyed 1,000 enemy ships. Others said Captain Rusk rammed the Orash flagship by hand. One transmission insisted a human refrigerator had ended the battle. That detail was mostly accurate, but the phrase remained the same in every version: hold until Earth arrives. At first, the words meant human reinforcements were coming. Later, they meant something broader. Hold until the impossible plan becomes possible. Hold until the miners arm their drills. Hold until the cargo ships turn around. Hold until someone disobeys an order written by people already retreating. Hold until fear stops being private. The words became a promise, not that Earth would always arrive in time, not that humanity could save everyone. The Battle of Neralis had killed too many people for such a promise. It meant that someone had heard, someone was moving. Someone had decided the system was not lost merely because the map had changed color. 6 months later, Commander Urash stood aboard the repaired Neralis defense platform. The outer ring remained incomplete. Human welders had painted names across the temporary armor plates. Small mercies, soft answer, patient argument, borrowed thunder, names of ships that had held the line. A new vessel approached the station. The rebuilt UNS Borrowed Thunder. Human engineers had attached the surviving bridge section to a replacement hull. The result looked unbalanced. Urash suspected the humans considered that a virtue. Captain Tayana Rusk entered the command chamber carrying a metal case. She walked with a slight limp. "You rebuilt the platform," she said. "You rebuilt the ship. Ours was cheaper." "That is difficult to believe." Tayana placed the case on the table. Inside lay a blackened piece of machinery. Urash examined it. "What is this?" "A fragment recovered from the false fold core pod." The object carried melted insulation and a bent temperature control. Urash understood. "The refrigerator. Part of it. Why bring it here?" Chief Vuk refused to allow it aboard the new ship. "A reasonable decision. She said it belongs in a museum." Urash looked toward the display of battle relics beside the observation window. The broken metal was placed among rail fragments, tow hooks, and the insignia of lost vessels. Tayana stood beside him. Beyond the glass, Neralis turned beneath ribbons of aurora. "Any Orash activity?" she asked. 3 formations have withdrawn from nearby systems." "Good. Compact intelligence believes they are reorganizing." "That's less good." Urash looked at the repaired destroyer. "Will human command send a fleet?" Tayana's expression changed. "They're trying." "Trying?" "Earth has formally entered the war." The statement should have sounded triumphant. It did not. Urash knew enough now to hear the concern beneath it. "How many ships?" "Not enough." He thought of the Battle of Neralis. Humans appear to consider that normal. Tayana smiled. "Now you're learning." The captain left for the docking ring. Urash remained beside the observation window. A distress signal arrived from another frontier system. The colony of Ilvara's Gate. Orash ships had entered orbit. Compact reinforcements were 4 days away. The Neralis platform was still under repair. Its fleet consisted of customs cutters, mining tugs, agricultural ships, and 1 human destroyer with mismatched armor. Selit Orr looked toward Urash. "Do we have orders?" "No." "Should we request them?" Urash watched the Borrowed Thunder begin turning toward the outer system. Its engines brightened. Human cargo ships followed. Neralis vessels started joining them. The commander opened a channel to Ilvara's Gate. The frightened face of an alien traffic officer appeared. "Neralis' defense, we did not expect a response." "Neither did we," Urash said. "Our fleet has withdrawn." "I know. We cannot hold." Urash looked toward the ships leaving orbit. Once he would have waited for authority, for doctrine, for someone distant to confirm that the people in danger possessed sufficient strategic value. That commander had survived Neralis. He had not left the battle unchanged. Urash's voice crossed the dark between systems. "Hold until Earth arrives." Behind him, the fleet that did not exist accelerated toward war.